Good morning, Carrie. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Well, that's so interesting. You have switched and become a vegan. How long have you been a vegan?
So it's been about 10 years, and it's a funny story because I was actually studying journalism in college, and I lived with, my roommate at the time was vegan, and that was quite unusual at that time. So I started eating the same meals that she would eat because, we lived together, we cooked our meals together, and that's really what kind of introduced me to plant-based eating.
Wow. So you don't miss your meat at all. You don't miss poultry, beef, fish.
I personally don't. One thing that I told myself that I would never give up would be dark chocolate, which I love, but fortunately, most dark chocolates are vegan. So I still have many options with that.
So, what would you say to someone who's listening this morning and saying, especially guys, they like their meat and potatoes, girl. They like their meat, and some women do. Like, I love my fish. I don't know. I'm not big into pork, but what would you say to someone that's listening? Say, I could never go all vegan. Was it easy to do?
So it wasn't easy. It was definitely a process. One thing I always recommend to people is that you don't ever try to do this overnight because, as you said, you're giving up a lot of food types of foods and protein sources. So you want to make sure that you do this with the proper guidance. But what I would say, Carrie, is that you truly don't have to be fully vegan. And that sounds controversial coming from me. I am an advocate for the plant-based diet, but really I see that a lot of people simply would not go vegan, right? That's just how it is. They're not interested, and that's completely fine.
Yep.
My goal is to get people to eat more plants. So even if you're still consuming animal products, just, one thing you can do to improve your health is significantly increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables and legumes and whole grains,
Hmm.
and maybe minimize, kind of take a step back on the meat and maybe eat it less frequently, and that already makes such a huge difference for someone's health. People think you have to go all the way, and although that does have great benefits, we see in research that just incorporating more plants, it's already so beneficial.
Yeah, and it's easy to do in the morning. It's easy to make a shake and put some good, healthy fruits in there and greens. And so, Carolina, what
Absolutely.
do you think is promoting more people to switch to plant-based diets? Because, it's been in the news a lot, but it seems like it's blowing up these days. Like everybody's going plant-based. What do you think are making people switch?
Absolutely. I think it's a combination of a few different factors. So first, one thing I see a lot when people reach out to me for, nutrition advice and nutrition consultations is that they're realizing the food they are currently eating is making them sick. So, the standard American diet that we are used to consuming, now more and more people are seeing it's not making them feel good, right? It's affecting their health, and it's kind of prompting more disease. So I think health and kind of that realization of the relationship between food and well-being is kind of kicking in. So people are trying to do better. I think that that's the main reason. But I also see people who are interested in a plant-based diet because they're realizing the impacts of the food industry on the environment, right? So we know we have a lot of data on the plant-based diet being more environmentally friendly
Hmm.
and more sustainable. So that's another thing for those, earth lovers like myself. I'm trying to make a less impact. And then finally, Carrie, I think plant-based eating has become so convenient. Like you said, there's so many options now. So many people are transitioning. I think there's just a lot of options. It's easier to eat vegan when you go to restaurants and you find more products, in the grocery stores.
Hmm.
Whereas when I went vegan, there was really nothing, to be honest. I had to make a lot of things from scratch. So I
Right.
think it's just easier.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up, going to stores with inflation the way it is now. Meat is expensive, girl.
Yes, I tell people that. I'm like, look at the price of the beans. They are cheap.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, compared to that, I mean, probably plant-based is going to be cheaper right now, so maybe now would be a good time to switch. But my concern with going totally vegan, because I love eating my vegetables, but I do like a chicken breast, my fish, and maybe a nice steak, once every, couple of months. But I'm concerned about what are the possible nutrition gaps when we do switch to a plant-based diet, because we might lack some of that nutrients that you mentioned.
Yes, I'm happy you brought this up because this is very important for us to touch on. There are some nutrient gaps, like you mentioned, that people can experience. The symptoms that we see in people who go vegan and they don't do it the right way, right? They don't do it with the proper guidance, include energy depletion. They can have heart or cardiovascular problems. They can have a weakened immune system, or even bone density loss. So like weakening of your bones.
Wow, that's kind of scary. So what nutrients are most important for people to pay attention to if they do switch to plant-based?
Exactly. So there are 4 supplements that I like to talk about. And I'll tell you, Carrie, really quickly, when I went vegan, I was a firm believer that I could get everything from foods and everything from kale and berries. And although those are really healthy, nutritious foods and you should keep eating them, I learned the hard way that I could not meet all of my nutrient needs solely on diet because it's hard. You have to eat a lot more of the foods, and a lot of the foods from plant-based sources, the nutrients are not as easily absorbed. So you want to have some supplements to really guide, go through the diet with the food and the supplements. So I'll mention 4 that I think are very important. Okay. Vitamin B12, that's a very popular one. It's needed for energy production and your nervous system. In a vegan diet, Carrie, there really is no source of vitamin B12 on a vegan diet. You could get it from eggs if you're a vegetarian, but you would have to eat about 6 eggs per day.
Oh my.
So that's quite a lot of eggs. So that's one that I find that many people, even non-vegans, are deficient in because the soil, where the foods are growing in, it's depleted.
It's depleted, yeah.
So exactly. So that's so important. I also have aged garlic extract. So this is important for heart health, and people are familiar with fish oil for heart health in a non-vegan diet, but of course vegans can't have that. So I found that the aged garlic extract is a great option, an alternative.
Okay.
Essentially, it's garlic that has been aged through a long process, and what that process does is optimizes the benefits of the garlic. So we see it's very anti-inflammatory, which helps your heart health. There's a lot of studies on this supplement, which I personally love things that have, science behind, so I can kind of learn about it. So this one in particular has been shown to help lower blood cholesterol and high blood pressure, which are risk factors for heart disease. And, although I love garlic, and I think everyone should cook with garlic, it's so flavorful and so, it's so high in antioxidants.
Yes.
You would have to eat about 28 cloves of garlic to get the same benefit of the supplement.
Oh my.
So you better have some toothpaste if you do that, because that would not be nice.
Or sleep in the other room.
Exactly.
But,
poor partner.
Yeah. I'm with you though. When we cook with garlic at home and just when we think we've had enough, we need more. I mean, garlic is just so good and yummy. It's good for you too. So you gave us 3. You gave us 3. There's one more. What's the other supplement?
Absolutely. So, so those are 2. So vitamin B12, aged garlic. I just want to mention quickly, Carrie, for people to know that not all supplements are vegan. So when you're looking for supplements, make sure to read, make sure it's vegan, because a lot of the supplements have animal products. So aged garlic extract, it's good to know. I use Kyolic, so they have a vegan formula and really, really great benefits there. Then we have calcium, so this is important for bone health. You can get calcium from plants, but you would have to eat about 10 cups of kale. That is a lot of kale.
Yeah.
That's the one I find beneficial for people to supplement. Get it from diet, but also get it from supplement.
Okay.
And then finally, vitamin D. Most of Americans are already deficient in vitamin D, vegan or not. So that's crucial. And you can get it from plant-based foods like fortified almond milk, but you would have to drink about 6 cups. So another one where supplements can really make it easier and more effective for you to get your nutrients.
Okay. Wow, this is great. I want to also, I'm just going to keep you for a few more minutes. Your website is hungryforplants.com. I love the name of that. That's great.
Oh, thank you. I thought about the same when I first went vegan. I started selling energy balls at in my local town, and I named it Hungry for Plants, and it just kept it. So I appreciate that you like the name.
That's great. Now, going plant-based, do you tend to lose weight? Will it help people be? I know we talked about the health benefits. What about the physical side of it? Do we lose a little weight? Did you notice that?
Absolutely. That is definitely a good, I guess, for some people, good consequence of a plant-based diet.
Okay.
Now, Carrie, that happens if you're doing a whole food plant-based diet. So just quickly, to tell you the difference, whole foods are not processed. So we're talking about fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. Whereas the people who are eating a vegan diet that's highly processed, fake meat and chips and vegan mac and cheese, all those processed foods,
Yep.
that's a different story. So if you're doing a whole food plant-based diet, weight loss is very, very likely to happen. It's low calorie, high fiber, and very much beneficial for your body weight.
Okay. And I really like what you said, and I hope our listeners take that to heart, because I am too. It's not something we can just flip a switch and we do it overnight. Like tomorrow I'm waking up, I'm totally vegan. No. It's a process, right?
Exactly. It's a process. Make sure you work with, a registered dietitian to guide you, making sure you're not having those nutrient gaps.
Okay.
And then you take baby steps and find what works best for you. Like you said, you have fish, you have poultry, and, you eat meat occasionally, maybe once a month. That's great. Just increasing your plant-based food intake is already a great benefit to your body.
Yes, and there's so many wonderful supplements out there that can help you do that. Not that we get anything from them, but balance of nature. You take some pills. My husband will do that. I can't get kale in him any other way, girl, So
Exactly.
It's nice to have those out there, and there's so many great supplements out there. And how can our audience follow you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram as Carolina the Green RD, and you mentioned my website, Hungry for Plants. There I put an article about these 4 supplements if people want to learn more, and I also recommend if they want to learn more about the H-garlic extract, the website is Kyolic, Kyolic, and they have a lot of great research there about garlic benefits.
All right, Carolina the Green RD, registered dietitian. Thank you so much. We learned so much this morning. Really appreciate it. At least I hope we inspired, and myself included, to eat more fruits and vegetables, no matter what happens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We'll be right back. You're listening to Suncoast in the Morning. We'll take a break. Don't go anywhere.